A 19-year-old dropout turned one drop of blood into $9 billion. No degree, no experience, just an idea and a black turtleneck. She became the youngest self-made female billionaire on the planet before she'd even turned 30. And then, in 1 year, it all hit zero. Nothing. Gone, mate. If you've ever wondered how someone builds a fortune that size on a straight-up lie and gets away with it for over a decade, stick around, because this one's absolutely mental. This is the story of Elizabeth Holmes and the $9 billion fraud called Theranos. Stanford University, 2003. Elizabeth Holmes is 19, and she's already decided she's going to be the next Steve Jobs. Not inspired by him, full-on copying him. Same black turtleneck every single day. Same low, robotic voice, one she reportedly trained herself to speak in. Same unblinking stare in every meeting. Proper creepy if you ask me. She drops out, takes the tuition money her parents saved up, and starts a company with one pitch. A machine that runs hundreds of blood tests off a single finger prick. No needles, no labs, no waiting days for results. Just prick your finger and done. Easy peasy. And look, if it actually worked, that's genuinely world-changing. Cheaper healthcare, faster diagnoses, no more people bottling it at the doctors because they're terrified of needles. That's the dream she sold. And it's exactly why nobody wanted to be the one to say no to her. By her mid-20s, her board looks less like a startup and more like a U.S. cabinet meeting. Henry Kissinger, former Defense Secretary James Mattis, media billionaire Rupert Murdoch throws in over 100 million quid of his own cash. Not one of them had a proper medical or scientific background. Didn't matter one bit. She had the vibe, the swagger, the whole "I'm going to save lives" energy cranked up to 11. And everyone, and I mean everyone, wanted a slice before it was too late. Keep that list of names in your head, by the way, because in a few years, every single one of them is going to wish they'd asked one more question. Theranos partners with Walgreens, one of the biggest pharmacy chains in America. Real stores, real customers, real blood going through these machines. The valuation shoots to $9 billion. Forbes puts her on the cover. She's doing TED Talks, comparing herself to Steve Jobs on stage, in interviews, everywhere. Everyone wanted the story to be true so badly that nobody stopped to check if it actually was legit. Picture the demo room. Investors sitting there, gobsmacked, watching her machine. The Edison supposedly run a full blood panel live in front of them. She's cool as anything. Technical words flying about. Proprietary technology, revolutionary microfluidics. And when someone asks a proper hard question about how it actually works under the hood, she doesn't answer straight. She pivots right back to the vision. Back to saving lives. Back to changing the world. And here's the thing. Nobody in that room wants to be the mug who kills the deal by pushing further. Because if this is real, and everyone else is piling in, and you're the one who hesitated, you're the idiot who missed out on the next apple. That fear of being left in the dust while everyone else cashes out big, that's what kept the checks rolling in. But behind those doors, it was a completely different story. The Edison barely worked. Like, barely at all. It kept spitting out dodgy results. So wrong that staff were secretly running blood samples on regular commercial machines from other companies and passing it off as their own tech. Sneaky as hell. Employees who raised concerns got shut down fast. NDAs on everyone. People got followed. Lawyers went after anyone who even whispered about leaving and spilling the beans. One of the darkest parts of this story is a chemist named Ian Gibbons. He knew the technology wasn't where the company claimed. He was set to testify in a legal case about it. Just before he was due to give evidence, he took his own life. That's not a plot twist. That's a real person who got crushed by the pressure this company put on anyone who threatened the lie. And here's where it stops being a business story and starts being genuinely messed up. Real patients, actual human beings, were getting blood test results from machines that didn't work properly. Wrong cancer readings, wrong pregnancy results, people making life-altering decisions off numbers that were basically fiction. That glossy magazine cover everyone was obsessed with, behind it, real people's health was on the line, and the company knew it wasn't reliable. They let it ride anyway, because pulling the plug would mean admitting the whole empire was built on absolutely nothing. So how does it all come crashing down? A journalist named John Carreyrou at the Wall Street Journal starts digging. He gets help from insiders, including Tyler Shultz, whose own grandfather, former Secretary of State George Shultz, was sat on Theranos' board. Imagine that family dinner. Absolute carnage. Another whistleblower, Erica Chung, comes forward too. Piece by piece, they build the case. In 2015, the story drops. And it's like watching dominoes fall in real time. The SEC opens an investigation. The Department of Justice gets involved. Walgreens legs it out of the partnership. Investors start scrambling, desperate, asking where their money actually went. And by then, it's already too late. That $9 billion valuation gets wiped to basically zero. Forbes literally revises her net worth from $4.5 billion down to nothing. Overnight, gone. Turns out she wasn't running this whole show alone either. Her second-in-command, Ramesh Sunny Balwani, was also her secret partner for years, something nobody at the company even had a clue about. He was neck-deep in the cover-ups, and when it all fell apart, he went down right alongside her, actually harder than her. The trial runs through 2021 and 2022. Cameras outside the courthouse every single day. Proper media circus. Her defense tries to paint her as someone controlled and manipulated by Sunny, that she genuinely believed the tech worked. The jury doesn't fully buy it. She's convicted on 4 counts of investor fraud. But here's the bit that gets people proper wound up. She's acquitted on the charges tied to patients. The jury said prosecutors didn't prove she personally meant to deceive the actual people whose health was on the line, even though the tech straight up failed them. November 2022, she's sentenced to over 11 years. Sunny Balwani gets nearly 13. Compare that to how much money vanished, how many lives got wrecked, and you can see why folks still argue whether that sentence was even close to enough. For over a decade, some of the smartest, most powerful people in America sat across from a 19-year-old and just didn't ask the obvious question. Why? Because she was that convincing. Because the vision was too exciting to interrupt. Because everyone wanted the fairy tale to be real more than they wanted the truth. She didn't just fool investors and patients, she fooled an entire culture that was desperate to believe in the next Steve Jobs, no matter what it cost the people underneath her. And maybe that's the part that should actually wind you up. Not that one person lied, but that so many people let her, because the lie was just too good to question. So here's the question. Comment caught if you reckon you'd have spotted it, or fooled if you think you'd have been sat in that room nodding along too. I want to see which one wins. And if stories like this get under your skin, hit subscribe because there's a lot more of this madness coming. Smash that like button if you made it this far. It genuinely helps this channel grow. See you in the next one.